I have a fantastic lineup of January favorites to share with you all today. And we recently had Christmas and then my birthday is in January. So I did get some new products to play around with and test out. So some of what I'm going to show you today is new, but actually the first product I wanted to mention is something I've had for a while and it just turned out to be my best friend during the month. And that is a travel size bottle of MAC Fix Plus. And sometimes when I get to the end of my makeup and I have a liquid foundation on and a powder, a blush, and a highlight, my face can look kind of flat and like I have a lot of product on my face. And just a couple sprays of this Fix Plus just helps bring a little bit of moisture and glow to my skin, and it somehow melds all those powder and liquid products together, and it just makes my skin look like skin again. So I've loved it for that, giving me a little bit more of a natural look, and I also like the little bit of moisture that it gives. So I've been using it to kind of finish off my makeup, and then I've also been using it mixed in with an eyeshadow. And when I got the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette, I swatched all the colors, and one that I was a little bit less than impressed with is the color Tricks. And I just thought it wasn't quite as pigmented as I expect an Urban Decay shadow to be. And there are some glitter particles that can end up falling down to my face when I'm applying it. So I didn't use Tricks for a while, and then one day I decided to wet my brush with MAC Fix Plus first and then go in with the shadow. And that Fix Plus brings out all the metallic properties to Tricks, and it also helps decreasing the fallout. So I have Tricks all over my lid today using the MAC Fix Plus, and I think that makes such a huge difference, and it's made me really like that color. And while I have the Naked 3 palette out, I also wanted to mention Nooner. And I think Nooner is my favorite shade out of this entire palette. It's a beautiful, a little bit deeper than mid-tone with some really pretty plumminess, and it's beautiful in the crease. That's how I'm wearing it today. I have it in the crease, a little bit in my outside corner, and then I have Tricks all over. So liking those two shades from the Urban Decay Naked 3 and especially the MAC Fix Plus. If you watched my Winter Essentials video, I mentioned the blush by Nars in the color Love Joy. And this in the pan is not that pretty and it looks a little bit dark, but I took Natalie from Flowerbomb 31's word on it and I went and swatched it in store, and this is beautiful on. It's what I'm wearing today, and it does retain a little bit of the bronziness that you see in the pan, but there's also a lot of rose and just a tiny hint of redness to it, and it's beautiful. I have to use a very light hand, but if I can get it right, it's gorgeous, and this was easily my most worn blush out of the month. Another product that I used almost every day on my cheeks was the Cindy-Lou Manizer by theBalm, and this is much more of a peach pink highlighter than the Mary Luminizer, which is more golden, and this on me is a lot easier, more natural to wear. It still is just as pigmented, so when I put my brush in, I have to make sure to tap off, but then when I put it on top of my cheekbones, it just goes so pretty with whatever blush that I'm using, and it gives a really pretty natural highlight to the cheeks. Let me quickly share the 3 lip products that I don't think have left my purse since Christmas. And actually the lip combination that I wore on Christmas morning is what I have on right now. And that is first the Urban Decay lipstick in the shade Fiend. And Fiend is a beautiful mid-tone rose color. It goes on with a lot of opacity and it has a little bit of moisture to it that just makes it feel really comfortable on the lips. And then just to add a little bit of extra shine, I topped it off with the L'Oreal Extraordinaire lip color in the shade 500 Molto Mauve. And this to me is another rose color with some mauve undertones. And my favorite thing about these L'Oreal lip colors is the very subtle shimmer that they have running through them. And it just looks so pretty and just adds a little bit of fullness to the lips. And I really like these. They do have a fairly strong fruity scent, so you may or may not like that, but the colors and the pigmentation that you get with these glosses are really nice. And then on Christmas morning, my sister Summer gave me one of the Buxom lip polishes in the shade Celeste. And Celeste has been on my little Sephora wish list back since I think the fall, when Well Tailored did a video where she just raved about this, saying it was her favorite lip gloss and she had already gone through a full tube of it. This is not something I would have ever picked out at Sephora on my own. It is a peach base, but it is just chocked full of glitter. And so this, if you don't like glitter, you would not like this lip color, but this looks so beautiful on every lipstick. I haven't found something it doesn't look pretty on top of. I put it mostly on my bottom lip right in the center and then blend it lightly out, and it just gives a lot of fullness to the lips, just makes them look a lot plumper. And if you like glitter and you like the mintiness that comes from the Buxom lip polishes, I think you would love this lip gloss. A Christmas gift from my mom was the Dolce & Gabbana Rose the One. And my mom has the best taste when it comes to perfume, and she had actually given me the original formula of this perfume a couple years ago, and I used that up and loved it. And I have never thought of myself as a person who just loves rose scents. They don't bother me, but it's not something I seek out. But lately I have been really liking rose scents, and this one in particular is a very modern take on rose. When you spray it, you do get that like you're walking through a field of roses, but there's also some citrus to it. And I had to look it up, but it's actually grapefruit. And I think that grapefruit just helps it seem a little bit younger. And then at the end, there is a little bit of vanilla and musk. So this is something I could see myself wearing year round. The grapefruit and citrus helps it seem more spring and summer, and the vanilla and musk makes it seem more appropriate for fall and winter. So this, I think I used this every single day that I wore perfume through the entire month. So this has been a huge favorite in January. My favorite tool is from Real Techniques, and this is their multitask brush. And that is what I love about it so much, is that it's good for a lot of different tasks. And I first started using this because I wanted to be a little bit more specific with the placement of my powder. And I felt like the big powder brushes were just putting it everywhere. And since my skin has been drier, I haven't needed powder everywhere, but I do still get oily in my T-zone. So this is great for placing along my forehead, down my nose, and a little bit on my chin. And I've also found it to be really nice for applying bronzer, and that's what I did today. I first powdered and then I went straight into my bronzer, put a little bit around the perimeter of my face. And then this brush is also really nice if you want a really diffused, blown out blush. So I used it with Nars Love Joy today and just kind of worked it on the apples of my cheek and then blended it out, and it really diffuses that color and works beautifully. My last product might be my #1 favorite out of the entire month, and it is a hair product by KMS California, and it's called the HairStay Style Boost. And this is something I would recommend for people with thin hair or hair that just can't hold a curl or a wave, or if you have thick hair that's really unmanageable. And the directions say to put this into damp, towel-dried hair. And it is so weird. You turn the product upside down and you dispense some of it into the palm of your hand, and then you're supposed to wait a second and let it start to crackle. So I'm gonna get up close so that you guys can hopefully see its kind of transformation and hear the crackling. Once it finishes crackling, that's when you're supposed to apply it to your hair. So I mainly focus it on the length of my hair, but I also like to put some into my bangs, and I just feel like it helps me style my bangs and it lets them fall into place a little bit easier. And the reason you're supposed to put this on first is that it increases the performance of any product you put on after that. So like my volumizing mousse or whatever. And I have loved how long this can keep a wave. So this today I just did in a couple seconds with like a really big curling iron. But tomorrow when I wake up, if I want to put my hair in a ponytail or something like that, I will still have this little bit of bend in my hair, and it looks really cute up in a ponytail. So this has been a huge favorite for me. I would love to know if anyone else has tried it, because I don't think I've come across anything quite like it. And it is also supposed to be a heat protectant. So it does a lot of different things, and it's just a really cool product that I started using in January. I didn't even notice it until right now as I'm looking at my hand covered in swatches, but I had a little bit of a theme in January. I see a lot of rose and a lot of gold, so I guess that was what I was drawn to during the month. I hope you enjoyed seeing my favorites. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.